Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be watching some of the videos produced by Reality Explained. Go subscribe to him, and I'll try to explain a little bit better on what he says. I might not know everything, of course, because I'm not an expert or something, but I'll try to help. Anyways, let's start.
Slammed the door on their neighbors. I mean, look at Croatia, for example. It simply didn't want to let Bosnia have access to the Adriatic Sea. Bosnia and Herzegovina does have a tiny 20-kilometer strip of coastline, but to access the ocean, they still have to pass under this Croatian bridge. Well, another mean neighbor is Benin. If we zoom in, we see Grand Popo, a narrow strip of beach that Benin took away from Togo.
Oh yeah, okay. So this thing happened because I'm pretty sure a president or maybe a mayor or something like that uh, had a girlfriend, I think, living in Togo in that side, and he just simply extended the border over there. I'm not sure how, but I'm quite sure that's what happened.
Togo's coastline. This 20-kilometer strip of land blocks Togo from the Atlantic Ocean and, of course, denies it the right to the sea. The Americas have some mean neighbors too, and Costa Rica knows this very well. Its neighbor, Nicaragua, wanted to keep this lake just for itself. That's why they named it Lake Nicaragua and drew their border around it, blocking Costa Rica from accessing the lake.
This one actually didn't
Of
know.
course, Chile couldn't be left out, as it blocks both Argentina and Bolivia
Yes.
from accessing the Pacific.
Alright, so this part was won by Chile in a war against Bolivia, and they basically just after the peace treaty was signed, took all of the coastline of Bolivia, sorry.
Ocean. These countries slammed the door. Did you ever wondered what's the most complicated border in the world? Well, there are many options, but for me, there is one that surpasses them all. I'll give you a hint. Russia is involved. Well, technically not Russia, but USSR. You
It's
see,
gonna be
after the
Central Asians, maybe? In the dead zone, I think it's called.
USSR collapsed, 15 new independent states emerged. But these three here, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan, seem to have had a hard time drawing their borders. There are 4 Uzbekistan enclaves located in Kyrgyzstan, and also 1 Kyrgyz enclave located in Uzbekistan. Looking also at Tajikistan, there are also 2 Tajik enclaves in Kyrgyzstan, and 1 Tajik enclave inside Uzbekistan. Of this set of enclaves, this territory of Uzbekistan within Kyrgyzstan borders called Sok is particularly special. Ignoring its weird shape, what makes it special is that although it's a fully sovereign territory of Uzbekistan, 99% of the population here are ethnic Tajiks. All of these are the result of the Soviet strategy to make it difficult for those republics to try to become independent countries.
Okay, that makes sense. I actually didn't know that was the reason. I thought it was just some way to interlock them with each other so they won't be able to break away so easily. But something like that. It was actually really interesting, I have to say. I didn't expect it.
There is a country that has no territory. This country is recognized by 113 sovereign states, which is more than some countries that actually have land, such as Taiwan in Asia, Kosovo in Europe, or Somaliland in Africa. It even has
I think it's this still thing in Italy, not the Vatican. There's another thing. There's a similar flag to Denmark, was it? Maybe England? I don't remember.
its
Something
own
like that.
passport. In fact, there are 500 passport holders who, of course, are spread around the world. Founded in Jerusalem in 1099, this country wasn't always without territory. It once owned the island of Rhodes from 1309 to 1522,
What's that?
and later controlled the island of Malta from 1530 to 1798, until
It was the I think the Holy Night, something like that. Like I something nights. I don't know. I don't remember.
Napoleon captured Malta. Now, all the country possesses is its headquarters, in a
I was
3-story
right.
building in Rome. You probably guessed it. I'm talking about the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, the only sovereign entity without a defined territory.
Alright, it was that. I didn't remember it fully, but yes, I think it was some kind of crusaders that were sent to capture the island of Malta. I'm not sure. And then, of course, he said with when Napoleon conquered it, they, you know.
Why Spain and Portugal are both claiming this town? You see, the border between Spain and Portugal is almost identical as the one defined in 1297, being the oldest geopolitical border in the world, after the border of Andorra. But for 18 kilometers, the border is not defined, and this is because Olivenza was under Portuguese sovereignty from 1297 until 1801, when the Spanish and French troops took the town during the War of the Oranges. In 1815, during the Vienna Treaty, Spain promised to give the city of Olivenza back to Portugal, but this never happened. Although both Spain and Portugal are part of EU and Schengen area, and the border is practically not existent, this still represents a border dispute, as Portugal does not recognize Spanish sovereignty over the territory. This is one of the few border disputes in Western Europe. Do you know others?
I also didn't know that. I'm kind of surprised by how many I didn't know. I was quite confident in my ability to know the geography and things like that.
Did you know there's a concept for a transatlantic tunnel connecting the United Kingdom to the United States? Or more specifically, London and New York.
Okay, I don't remember what's that. If it was. It's supposed to cost like $20 trillion. It's insane. מה? לא. לא, אני עושה סרטון. אני עושה סרטון. אני עושה סרטון! אבא, באמת. אבא?
The tunnel would be 3,400 miles long and could turn the 7-hour flight between the UK and the US into a 54-minute train ride. Engineers believe that a floating tunnel, submerged around 49 meters underwater, is the most plausible way to make this possible. The train would travel through a vacuum tube.
I have no idea about all of this. This is very new to me, honestly. I just know about the cost of the project, not how it was going to be built or something like that. Though I guess it wouldn't be built because the cost will be way too much. It's like about half of the US's GDP, or maybe the whole of it. I don't remember it. Like 23 trillion, I think, the US GDP, or 30 something trillion.
At speeds of over 3,100 miles per hour. For comparison, the Channel Tunnel, a 23.5-mile link between England and France, took 6 years to build and cost $13 billion. If we scale this up, the transatlantic tunnel would cost a staggering $19 trillion and would probably take decades to complete. Do you think it's possible? Did you know? These are the oldest borders in the world that still exist today. First, we have the Portugal-Spain border, which is what's the biggest uninhabited island in the world? Nobody talks about this land here nestled between Armenia, Iran, and Turkey. This is Nakhchivan, and it is actually an
Azerbaijan. I don't remember why. I just know it's a part of them.
Azerbaijani exclave. Of course, in the Caucasus region, everybody is talking about the disputed land of Nagorno-Karabakh, and nobody talks about how Nakhchivan became an exclave. In 1500 BC, it used to be part of the Kingdom of Armenia, and in the following 3,000 years, it was disputed by the Mongols, Persians, and Turks. Safavid Iran controlled it starting in the 16th century. In 1828, after the Russian-Persian War, the area was ceded to the Russians. When the Soviet Union was formed, there was complete chaos in the region, with Nakhchivan being disputed by the Republic of Azerbaijan, Armenia, and the Ottomans. After being retaken by the Soviets in 1920, Vladimir Lenin declared the Nakhchivan Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic with close ties to the Azerbaijan Republic. After the USSR collapsed, Azerbaijan became an independent state, and Nakhchivan became an autonomous republic within Azerbaijan. But geographically, the two are still separated. Europe is actually very small, and you can see that when Europe is not as peaceful as it looks like. Europe is changing. In 2014, far-right parties held about 15% of the seats. We all know East Germany ceased to exist in 1990 when East and West Germany reunited. Except this might not be true. You see, after World War II, Germany was split into 4 occupation zones. The
Yes, obviously this was after the war ended and just like you said, split.
areas occupied by the US, UK, and France were unified into a
Yes.
country commonly known as West Germany, while the area that the Soviets occupied became East Germany. East Germany was a communist country, as was Cuba, and the two countries were really good
Yeah, okay.
friends. Because of this, in 1970,
Yeah, Cuba gifted a very very small island to East Germany in I think a show of friendship.
2, Fidel Castro decided to give a nice gift to East Germany. The gift was this Cuban island.
Yes.
The island's name was changed from Cayo Blanco del Sur to Ernst Thälmann Island. The island was completely forgotten. So forgotten that in all
In the treaty, when West and East Germany united, the island wasn't even mentioned. So technically, East Germany is still there, even though I'm pretty sure Cuba just took it back after they reunited.
documents signed when East Germany rejoined West Germany, the island was not mentioned at all, which
Yes.
means that it never officially rejoined West Germany, making it the last remaining part of East Germany. When asked about this, Germany and Cuba said that the transfer of the island was just symbolic.
And also, there's a very little small nation in the United States. Uh, I think it's in Nevada, somewhere in the north. Micronations nation, and they actually, I think, declared war on East Germany, even though they couldn't really do anything. So, since East Germany was technically still on the islands, the micronation is still at war with East Germany to this day.
This country is massive. Argentina is approximately 3,650 kilometers long. From La Quiaca in the north, there is a country that only existed for 8 seconds. You see, if one other country recognition is enough to become a country, then the shortest lived country is the Republic of Crimea, which existed for just 1 day.
Yeah, and then it was annexed by the Russians.
From March
The
17,
Soviets.
2014, when it declared its independence after an illegal referendum, to March 18th, when Russia annexed Crimea and made it part of the Russian Federation. But this
Obviously, this isn't recognized by most of the world, so that's why you don't see it on the map and as a part of Russia. After the modern war, maybe it will be different. Who knows?
is pretty controversial. So, the shortest lived country with an actual government and foreign relations was the Russian Democratic Federative Republic, which was formed after overthrowing the Tsars in January 18, 1918. But just 6 hours later in the same day,
Just after the Russian Civil War.
Vladimir Lenin dissolved the state and formed the Russian SFSR. But in 2017, the independent state of
Catalonia, yeah, okay, Catalonia.
Catalonia lasted just about 8 seconds. The Catalan leader declared the independence, and right after that, he asked the parliament to suspend his declaration so he can negotiate with Spain,
Okay.
giving Catalonia only an 8 seconds lifespan. There
I know that was really fun, honestly. I learned a lot of new things. Once again, go subscribe to Reality Explained. The link of his channel will be in the description. Thank you very much. I hope also this helped you understand. And once again, just like my first video, I want you to comment how I can improve my videos.